I mean, this
oh
is
my
just
god,
two great
he's
players
done
of
it.
caliber.
No way.
What
There's
is
actually
amazing
no...
is
I
the
think I said at the start of the stream, I was like,
return of
Sejun,
the
he's obviously not
Pachirisu,
going to
the
bring
10th anniversary
Pachirisu
of
this
the
time.
win that
He's brought
won it
Pachirisu.
all. And to bring Pachirisu out to the World
So we've got...
Championships once again,
I really like
in a
Aaron
very
Zheng's team.
different era of the video game,
And then we've got
we have all of these
Sejun,
Pokemon threats.
standard
I think it's
Miraidon, but he was
really,
like,
really
you know
awesome.
what, I
think a
don't
really
need
cool call going
whatever
into
that
this
start
as
would be, a
well. That was the
Whimsicott.
thing.
Give me
Last time Sejun had the
Pachirisu.
Pachirisu, it was a call into a
He's going to
metagame.
spam
And
Discharge
if you
so
see that
much. We have Aaron Zheng running Rillaboom, Zamazenta, Entei, Chien-Pao, Grimmsnarl, and Fluttermane. So a really just solid Zamazenta team. He is running the Wide Guard one, which I think is better because it's good into stuff like Calyrex, Shadow. Choice Band Entei with Chien-Pao is really interesting, and then we've got Fluttermane with Booster Energy that also has Icy Wind. I think that that's very good here. It's most likely a speed booster one, and he's got Shadow Ball and Moonblast, so he can basically force Terrors out of things. Like with Shadow Ball, you force a Terra out of Calyrex Shadow, and then once it's terrored, that Zamazenta can probably hit it, because if it normal terrors or if it dark terrors, body press hits it. If it's what's the other one? Fairy terrors, heavy slam hits it, and then he's also got Throat Spray instead of Sacred Sword on his Chien-Pao. He's obviously got Zamazenta, so he doesn't need a fighting move, and Throat Chop is quite good anyway, and can stop things like Parting Shots. And then the Grimmsnarl's interesting, like it's fairly standard. It does have Foul Play, which I think is kind of a standard at this point, but it's also got Taunt. So I think he relies on that a lot in the Amoonguss matchup, which is kind of fine. And then the Entei has double fire moves, I guess Flare Blitz for a bit more damage and consistency. Sacred Fire is better in general. Stone Edge is an interesting choice instead of Stomping Tantrum. It obviously does a lot more damage than Stomping Tantrum, but less accurate. It also lets him hit, I guess, stuff like Tornadus. Okay, and then we've got Sejun with Pachirisu that has Super Fang, Helping Hand, Follow Me and Protect, and then Farigiraf, Chi-Yu, Miraidon, Iron Hands, and Urshifu Water. But that Iron Hand set, look at that Iron Hand set. Low Kick, Sword Stance, Fake Out Detect with Clear Amulet. I don't know what to think. I also was so convinced that Miraidon was going to have Discharge to pair with Pachirisu, but it doesn't. So that Pachirisu, I guess, is just really good for the mirror. That Iron Hands is insane. Other interesting things, the Chi-Yu has Psychic, so it can threaten stuff like a Scarf Ursh. Like basically forcing it to Terra, but Scarf Ursh doesn't want to Terra against this team. Unless it's like Terra Grass. Whose matchup do I like here? If it wasn't Sejun, I would not take that team seriously. But it's Sejun Park, and you can't not take that. You can't not take that man seriously, because he's won with Pachirisu before.
I think the one thing that you do have to worry about with that Chi-Yu is that it does have that choice.
Did he decide that he wanted to run Pachirisu, or is it genuinely like a good option for his team? I don't know how good it is in this matchup.
Yeah, Chi-Yu, it's definitely a Pokemon that can pack a punch with the Choice Scarf. It will be able to get,
like the
one very powerful hit off before being taken down, since it doesn't
it's very good in
necessarily
Miraidon
have
Mirror.
the
I guess that's why he's got it.
Power out there. I'm eyeing up for Aaron's side still. Again, this Entei with that Choice Band, because that's going to be a good amount of damage. And I love that we have the ability to go for a priority attack.
Aaron,
you do need to be watching out.
I want to be bringing the Rillaboom for sure. I probably want.
Something that in other situations you can.
You probably want Zamazenta, and then I think you also want Chien-Pao. And then the last one,
if Aaron decides to go down a different route,
what you've brought is quite weak to Chi.
It's going to be hitting a lot of things on Sejun's side
so
of the field for
maybe you
damage,
bring.
You know?
You
I think
could
the one
bring.
thing you would see you're going to have to watch out for slightly is that
bring
urshifu, because
Flutter
before you Terastallize,
for
you're going to be weak
just
to
being able to
Sejun's
outspeed,
strike,
and then you can like Icy Wind stuff, and like Icy Wind with Body Press double up is really good into a lot of Sejun's team. And then if you Sejun, you've got to bring the Miraidon, obviously, and you bring the Chi-Yu, and I think you want Farig.
And this Follow Me.
And
this is just like the Miraidon 101 answer. But
does Iron Hands
we're going
come?
up against a different restricted and kind of this.
Because Iron Hands, I think, is usually quite good in this matchup, but he's got such a weird set that I'm not sure.
But where do we land on that one, Lee?
I
want to say as well, Sejun Park,
game
right?
one, probably you want to bring it because it gives you a
He's
little
aged
bit of
really
room
well.
to
This man won Worlds like 10 years ago. He doesn't look a day older.
You don't necessarily have to worry so much about things like the body.
He's also wearing the World's 2014 t-shirt. I've got one of those t-shirts somewhere.
Side of the field, he's got a few Pokemon that can Terrasilize and go onto that Fairy Terra typing, so they will be susceptible to that heavy slam if the Zamazenta.
So if I'm Sejun, I think I would go. You go Miraidon, you go Chi-Yu.
The additional damage that you
I don't think you go Iron Hands.
From Pokemon just hitting into your side of the field
because of the set is a bit weird, but it's not awful. It's
not
awful.
Taking something down,
like low kick can hit a lot of things for good damage. But I don't know if it does enough. I do think you go for Rig.
Is he going to utilize them? I think he has.
Because I think like if you get in position for a Chi-Yu is just sweep.
And he's got the ability with the Grimmsnarl as well to really kind of
maybe you go Pachirisu. Maybe you do go Pachirisu.
That can come out from Sejun's side of the
but
field.
maybe you go.
I think you need to try and prevent.
I'm actually not sure which of those two.
Especially on the Iron Hands, at least.
They do very different things. But I think that
set up at the electric on the field. It could become quite problematic.
She's actually decent,
that's where at least
weirdly
one of
good
the
into
move choices that Aaron has
because
on that Grimmsnarl. Speaking of that Pokemon,
like
is nice because it's kind of like okay, if you're having the Grimmsnarls, we want to see the screens, right? You gotta need those. We get to see an attacking move,
really
but then that fourth slot can be kind of up in the air.
it.
Whether it's something like a Thunder Wave, you get that paralysis, you get a little bit of speed control in that way, or how Aaron decided to build it out is this taunt. Being able to shut down something like those, that redirection, something like that Sword Stance. Make sure that Sejun can't really start getting the ball rolling in that way.
Yeah,
so
I feel like
there is even the
possibility
that like
might be coming here, honestly.
It'd be good to get sort of that redirection.
But maybe it's not. Like the redirection is nice.
Opportunity to get set up
but is it worth it?
Yeah, and that's probably not a bad way to
Hold
do
on.
it.
We get to see Aaron's reaction
I'm just
here.
Gonna go for it. Yeah,
why are you not cutting to Aaron?
As soon as it's presented to me, then that might be
cut to Aaron. Cut to Aaron.
Really kind of get around some of the trickier Pokemon.
There is no way.
Aaron might be in the same mind as that, where he leads with that Grimmsnarl.
Who decided to not cut to Aaron seeing a Pachirisu on his thing? So leads, I would expect Sejun to lead Miraidon. Miraidon Chi-Yu seems nice. Like you go Miraidon Chi-Yu with like Farig in the back, and then you can threaten a lot. And then if you're Aaron, you want to. I think you do want to lead Rilla in case of the opposing.
I think you probably get the feelers out, see how Sejun's going to line up, what he's bringing to this match.
Miraidon, but you could actually go with like a Flutter lead. Like Flutter Zamazenta, I think is an interesting lead.
You can't really freely utilize those priority attacks when that
Zamazenta,
is either in the back or it's being led.
Rillaboom could be interesting as well, but then you're leaving yourself a bit open.
It makes it very difficult to kind of
to just switching into his opponent, switching into Farig and clicking overheat,
trainers. Let's get excited,
which
and let's start getting
not ideal. Like the thing with Sejun's style of team here is it just threatens a lot of like offense right away, and we do see Sejun leading Chi-Yu Miraidon, which is what I said, and we see Zamazenta Rillaboom. So the thing is, if I'm Sejun here, I think that I launch a overheat into that Rillaboom and maybe switch him for a grab. Try and get rid of that Rillaboom, and then you have terrain control for the rest of the game. But maybe Aaron is going to switch out that Rillaboom. But
which one do you choose to fake out, and do you commit to that? Because
like, there's so many mind games here. Because you can fake out, but then the Farigiraf can come in. You can wide guard, but then you can overheat. You can not wide guard, and then you can heat wave. Sejun wants to Volt Switch out, but he could just switch. Letting him get a Volt Switch is going to do a lot of damage onto the Zamazenta. But you could fake out to stop it, but then the Farigiraf could come in. And if you're faking out that, then you're leaving alone the Chi-Yu. So, like, it's an awkward position anyway. We do see that Aaron switches out the Rillaboom, going into the Entei, and we see a Terra coming out. And it is the Chi-Yu, which is Terra Ghost. So basically, making a mid-ground play, deciding I want to be immune to fake out, I don't want to just switch in the Farig, so going Ghost, and we see that the Zamazenta protects. But what is Sejun going for? It is the overheat into that slot, which is what I thought, but I think this might be a Volt Switch into that slot as well, because that covers basically any switch We do see Volt Switch, but it's not into that slot, it is into the Zamazenta. But that overheat did so much damage. Like, that's a resisted hit, which is insane that it does that much damage, which makes me think this Entei is probably very bulky. No, not very bulky. It's probably 0 bulk. The Zamazenta is Terra Dragon, so you could Terra Dragon now, but then you're leaving yourself a bit weak to for Miraidon later, but I think you have to. Terra... You have to Terra Dragon. If you're Sejun, I think this is honestly a fairly safe, like, overheat into the Zamazenta and Volt Switch the Entei, and it should pick up the KO of the Entei and will do a lot of damage to the Zamazenta unless it's Terra's, and if it Terra's then you've burnt his Terra, which is really nice. And we do see a Terra coming out from Aaron's side, which is that Zamazenta going into Dragon, so it does now resist Electric and it resists Fire, but it is weak to Draco Meteor and Dazzling Beam, which might be relevant later in the game.
It's going to be resisted.
And then Extreme Speed from the Bandits, Entei comes out, does about 45% overheat, coming out onto the Zamazenta, doing like 30, 40 HP. Not that much, but who's faster? The Miraidon's faster, Volt Switch into the Entei, picking up the knockout. And now he gets to switch into whatever he wants. But he has to be wary that a Body Press might be heading that way. And I don't think he has anything that resists Body Press, so he doesn't have a great switch in, but maybe he just goes into like the Pachirisu here, and then he can really safely like just follow me and switch back into Miraidon probably. I think that's a very good play.
To this match. Curious what it is. The Farigiraf that you called out could be a great one, considering there's something a little bit more on that defensive end. I am still personally hoping patchy, but there is still a lot of really strong Pokemon that he can have.
So other options he could go with Iron Hands.
Time to see what it is though. It will
okay, it is just for Farig.
So no priority.
I think that is his least important Pokemon. Yeah, it doesn't even matter what his like lasts are. I think that's his least important now, because he's used up the Terra and Ghost, because he doesn't need to drop. I was going to say he doesn't need to block priority as much, but he actually kind of does, because now this Chi-Yu is weak to Sucker Punch. He's got the ability to bring that in just to get rid of the that's a really big threat to the Chi-Yu, to the point where if you get rid of the Farig, then you can always just threaten that Chi-Yu. He also got okay damage onto the Miraidon, so he could be trying to get that into Sucker Punch range as well, and that way he can just like close out the game with Chi-Yu. The Chi-Yu honestly isn't. Close out the game with Chien-Pao just threatening Sucker Punches.
I definitely wouldn't hate getting rid of the Farigiraf. Having that helping hand to be able to enable your partner Pokemon is not fun. Or even the foul plays, considering Aaron really only has Pokemon.
And the Chi-Yu from Sejun really isn't threatening much damage because it is at -4. It can do a lot still to this Chien-Pao and probably bring it to Sash, or at least close to Sash, but it might not be worth it
later on, especially too
considering like there's still a Rillaboom in the back. That is so good into that. So we do see it switching out, but I don't think this is going to be into Miraidon. I think this will be into whatever his other Pokemon is, and it is Pachirisu. So I called it right correctly. Called it right correctly again. We see the Throat Spray come out, and it is Rocky Helmet, so the Sash has been broken, but the Body Press comes out and picks up a knockout on the Farigiraf, and the Throat Chop does a lot of damage to that Pachirisu, but still around, but it did only do that much with a crit. So I wonder if it would have been a 2-shot without a crit. I think it probably would have, but it would have been close. So now Sejun has to think, what does he go back into? And he goes into from Miraidon.
But the problem is now you've got the Pachirisu with the Follow Me, so you can't really utilize that attack anymore. Miraidon coming back onto the field, going to set that electric terrain up, and it does pose a big threat to that Zamazenta now with that Draco Meteor.
He wants to get rid of this Chien-Pao so that he can safely attack with his Chi-Yu. But he wants to get rid of his Zamazenta because his Chi-Yu can't kill it. His Miraidon does. So this is a bit of an awkward situation.
Notably, since
I
we've seen the swap over into something like
I
the
was
Dazzling
Sejun,
Gleam,
I would
we don't
follow
have this
me and I would
possibility
hold switch
of something that could just be hitting the whole field here. So
Chien-Pao,
you can be committing to
hopefully get
something
rid of
like
it,
a
and then
Dazzling
you go
Gleam instead,
into
but you
the
would have to be watching out for the potential of a wide guard over on Aaron's end. You would be dealing super
You get to
effective
go
damage
into the
into
Chien,
both,
and you
would make sure the Zamazenta is
can
then
just
not
threaten like
damage
Draco
on this
overheat
turn.
for the
That's still
game.
a big call to make.
But if you're Aaron, you have a lot more defensive options, like we're seeing here. But really, we can come in and threaten Fake Out. And this only really goes wrong if Sejun decides to Volt Switch the Rillaboom slot, which I think is very unlikely. That would be a very next level play if he was to do that. We do see a Follow Me coming out from the Pachirisu, but what is this Miraidon doing? It is a Draco into that slot, so this is still going to do a lot of damage, but not enough. And now Sejun is in a very awkward position where he's not threatening enough damage, but he doesn't really have safe switches.
Now at -2, the Miraidon would have to just manually swap to be able to get that back, and that's where Aaron can find advantage.
I kind of feel like
with that critical hit on the swap, and the Pachirisu has taken a lot of damage, and even if
you
you
could
protect
just
and
like
swap,
throat
you can
chop
just kind of double into the other slot, and you'd have to make so much headway with that.
I mean, actually,
Miraidon
you should double
going
the
on forward. So a little bit of a dangerous spot, and
the
even
Miraidon anyway. But maybe you Grassy Glide. If you think Grassy Glide is pick up a Pachirisu, you could Grassy Glide the Miraidon and throat chop the Miraidon, and then you cover for switches, you cover for protects, and if Grassy Glide picks up the knockout, then you just get enough damage for it in sacrifice range or Grassy Glide range. Like the Miraidon's in range of those, and then the Chi is forced to come in and you can sacrifice it. So I think Aaron is in a very comfortable position here, but we do just see a Fake Out. He had a Fake Out available. I think that did allow Sejun a way to get back into this game, whereas I feel like maybe Throat Chop Grassy Glide didn't, but I'm not sure how much respect -2 Draco Meteor is doing to that Chien-Pao, and maybe Aaron just wanted to be safe and wanted to make sure he wasn't doing any damage. But if Sejun that turn decided to like switch in the Chi on that slot, he could have won. Like switching with Chi, follow me. That could have been. Actually, no, that wouldn't have worked. No, what Aaron did was correct, because I believe he went for Throat Chop onto the Miraidon. So it's like, if Chi switches in, it dies. If the Pachirisu Follow Me, it dies, and then you could Sucker Punch for Chi. If the Miraidon stays in, then it takes a Throat Chop, and Pachirisu doesn't press enough back. So I think that was actually a very smart play from Aaron. And now you should probably just see a Sucker Punch into the Chi-Yu and like a Wood Hammer or a Grassy Glide into the Miraidon, and that should be game, and Aaron should win game 1.
Here in this game 1 between these two trainers, all down this -2.
We do just see Grassy Glide. That was probably just to make, like, on the off chance that Chi survives. And we see Draco Meteor miss, which is only really relevant for learning calcs. But it's not, like, Sejun couldn't win, but maybe he would learn if a -2 Draco would KO the Chien-Pao from there.
Well-timed terrestrialization, making it very difficult for Sejun to get kind of any foothold in this game. The Sucker Punch there.
So game 1 goes to Aaron Zheng.
Really, really well played. And we talked at the beginning of the match about how, for maybe a window of opportunity for victory, Sejun to get the Terra out of Aaron could be where he find advantage.
Like change up what they do, because I feel like
too much about
Sejun brought
Aaron being able to get that terrestrialization out of Sejun. That was the very first turn terrestrialization from that
could switch up his
Chi-Yu
bonus, but
to
it
make
works
sure that
out, so
wouldn't
maybe he
get hit
doesn't
by
want
a
to.
fake
I
out.
think
It's
that
choice
Aaron's
item lock.
lead was
It can
very strong.
protect. All of a sudden, it's Terra Ghost. The Fake Out didn't even go towards that slot, and it's a Chi-Yu that's
honestly in this matchup. I feel like
done
Sejun
for
just
later
needs
in the
to
match once Aaron was able to do due
more,
diligence,
like,
get rid of things like the Farigiraf.
Yeah, I guess he made the call with going for the Draco, and he got it wrong. But
as we're seeing now, the Pachirisu
I don't know if he like turn one. If he turn one like
timed as well as probably what Sejun would have liked. Aaron really capitalizing there with that big throw chop,
Rillaboom slot,
making it
he would have just got a free knockout,
useful than it would normally
free
be
switch
coming
into
in
like
full
Pachirisu, and that would have been like really strong for him. So I feel like that could have been. I think that could have been a better turn 1 for him.
When I'm looking at the move selection by Sejun and these choice locked Pokemon. Overheat on the first turn. A lot of damage, but it was into this Entei swap. The Entei sticks around for a little bit. You're now at -2.
I don't know.
We got to see the Miraidon
this
hit
is very
the
awkward. Maybe he could try and go a
Meteor that all of a sudden puts it at -2.
Like,
and if you're constantly
you go like Miraidon for
and Aaron's just doing consistent damage to those swap-ins, like with
Chien,
when the Farigiraf swapped in. Well, then Sejun, I mean,
Pachirisu Iron Hands is for Miraidon.
Attack, but if your own
I don't know.
Like,
I think the issue for Sejun is
so even if we do
like
stick with
Iron
kind of
Hands
the
is
same
usually
Pokemon
very good in
going
this sort of
into this,
matchup, but
I'd
he's
maybe
got
like to
such
see
a
maybe
weird
different
set
move
that I don't think it
selection.
works.
If you're already not getting
But you
the
can't
KOs
bring it.
with
Like,
these
if he was
moves,
the standard
pick
assault
something that
best
you
one,
can just spam
it
over
would be
and
really
over.
good in this
Yeah,
matchup.
I think you make a good point, because that's it. It's like the high risk, high reward with those moves like the Draco Meteor, like the Overheat, where it does have those big drawbacks of lowering your overall attack power when you're using its subsequent turns. And that's what really cost Sejun, because it forced him into a position where he had to switch out. And Aaron really capitalized in those moments where he was punishing Sejun, having to switch those Pokemon out to try and get them back and readjust that board for later in the game.
Know what
Aaron just not giving him a foot.
So we do see Sejun leads for Farigiraf Miraidon, and we do see a change from Aaron as well, going with Chien Pao and Zamazenta. So an interesting thing to note is Chien Pao and Miraidon speed tie. Naturally speed tie anyway. So we don't know which one is faster. We did see
huge damage here. And does get that defense
we did see Sword of Ruin activate first, but I'm not 100% sure if that's how the mechanic
maybe
works.
A swap could be a great
because
thing
maybe
to
it
override
always
some terrain at this point, but Aaron
first.
definitely has options.
Yeah, a lot of options.
But if you're Aaron, you can like threaten like an ice move onto the Miraidon, basically forcing it to full switch out if it's faster, or just switch out. But you could capitalize off of that by attacking into this Farigiraf. I don't remember if this Farigiraf has Protect or not. We saw that on the team sheet, but I don't remember. If it doesn't have Protect, a very safe play would be Body Press Throat, chop into that, get rid of it turn 1, unless it terrors. But that is letting the Miraidon do whatever it wants to do, which is maybe not the best. We do see a Terror coming out. I think it is Miraidon, so he's scared of the Ice move.
The body presses.
He's going for this because
in that first game.
Maybe he knows that the Chien Pao's faster, maybe he knows it's speed tie, but he doesn't want to risk it. And we do see that the Chien Pao is at least not slower. It could still be a speed tie, but it's not slower. And we see the Volt Switch coming out onto Zamazenta doing so much damage. Miraidon is insane. Miraidon is so good, but the Zamazenta is still around, and that's the most important part, because it can launch a Body Press off. And if it goes into the Farigiraf, it is going to... It probably will pick up a knockout. It is a +1 defense Farigiraf, so maybe it won't. But I believe it will pick up a knockout. But if it goes into the other slot, into the Volt Switch, it's going to do a lot of damage no matter what comes in. It would KO that. So honestly, that's a very risky switch from Sejun, deciding he thinks that the Body Press is going to go into the other slot, but he was right. So he gets the Chien in
going down on this turn,
safely, and then
going out, you get that good amount of damage.
I guess he could probably go back into the Miraidon, and then he can...
back in at this point,
it's a bit awkward what he wants to lock himself into, because you want to Heat Wave here, because you pick up the Zamazenta and you bring the Chien Pao. But if you Heat Wave and your opponent Wild Guards, then you can always just lock down this Chien with Wild Guard.
That's where Aaron then has to play that game of,
so it's a bit of an awkward one, but we do see the Pachirisu.
It won't even be the Miraidon this turn. The Pachirisu has returned.
Yeah, coming onto the field, gonna have utility.
Pachirisu, I believe, has Super Fang helping him from protection. So it can't actually threaten. It can threaten 50% damage onto anything, but it can't threaten any KOs. So with that switch in, I feel like Sejun can't just go for Heat Wave, because if he just goes for Heat Wave and his opponent just Wild Guards, he loses. Honestly, if I'm Aaron, I think I'm double protecting this turn, seeing what it locks himself into. And I don't think there's much can go wrong with that play. If it's an overheat, you can switch in your Entei to take it and attack with your Chien Pao. If it's a Heat Wave, then you can Wild Guard. If it's something else, then you do something else. I don't know. Like, there's no reason not to double protect to see what he locks into. The worst case is Sejun then switches into Miraidon, which I still don't think would be that bad. And we do see it's an overheat. Goes into the Zamazenta. And I believe we also saw Super Fang, yeah. So Pachirisu also gave Super Fang, deciding to break the sash, which would also put it in range of overheat. repeat.
play around
So
a little bit, but at the same
now
time,
Aaron knows what his
opponent's
opponent's locked into.
surely
He does, interestingly, he has Icicle
you
Crash
probably
instead of
you know, the one thing
Ice
is
Spinner,
it's solo health
which is
at this
usually
point. You
just
say,
there
okay, well, I'm
so
gonna
that you don't
sacrifice my
override
Zamazenta,
your
I've got
Rillaboom's
two
terrain.
Pokemon in the back.
But
They can come in and maybe
it's also
do
very
a decent
good
job,
here
or do you preserve
because
that
of
Zamazenta,
the
maybe
Rocky
switch it
Helmet.
out and try and get some decent damage with that Chien Power.
And the Rocky,
because
obviously the Rocky Helmet would usually
doing that if you go into the
break the Chien Power sash, but Icicle Crash means it doesn't, and you can still do a lot of damage if you hit. But here I think it's fairly safe for Aaron to just like Icicle Crash and to switch in the Entei. But we actually don't see that. We see a Follow Me coming up from Pachirisu. We don't see a switch. I guess deciding that
all of the hits being the center of attention as if it wasn't
Zamazenta isn't that important anymore, but maybe also making a read. That was maybe a read, but he was like, oh, I'm expecting that the overheat to go into the Chien Power now. So he does get the Icicle Crash, he does hit, and he's going to get a body press as well, which should be enough to pick up the knockout. And now it's just Sejun's Chi-Yu and Sejun's Chi-Yu and Miraidon versus the whole of Aaron's team with an Entei and a Rillaboom in the back. I don't think that Sejun can win this. But maybe he still can. So I think that was actually a very good play from Aaron, because even if he lost his Zamazenta that turn, the Zamazenta was so low HP and was getting outsped by everything on Sejun's side that it wasn't needed. So if he switched in the Entei, took damage on it, that damage is probably much more valuable than the Zamazenta was at that point. So I think that's very good. I think now Aaron just has to figure out how to safely finish out this game.
Since we do have the Dazzling Gleam, it can go for these spread damage attacks as well, and you definitely don't
get
need
damage
to be
onto the Chi-Yu and try and get rid of the Chi-Yu first, because that's what could beat the Rillaboom.
But it is going to be a good call with the Chi-Yu
then he's leaving alone the Miraidon.
But
a Miraidon with Electric Drift probably isn't going to be doing enough into Rillaboom in this position.
Gonna take care of the other restricted.
Yeah, really nice play here. And
okay, we see the Electric Drift picks up the knockout on the Zamazenta, and now I wonder what he goes into.
I think the one thing that we would say about Aaron is he's really managing this game well, in the fact that he's protecting.
He's hovering over Entei, and I think Entei is correct. Because I think with Entei, you go for Extreme Speed and Sucker Punch into the Chi-Yu.
About switching, about what you bring in at a certain time, and what move you lock into a lot easier.
If you don't pick up a knockout, if you pick up a knockout, you just win. You may lose both Pokemon if you don't pick up a knockout.
Threaten with extreme speed into both of these
but even if you do, you're putting Grassy Glide range, and then I believe that Rillaboom should beat Miraidon in a 1v1, especially as it's fairy, so now it doesn't resist your Grass moves. But he also has the Terra Normal, so I don't think a Chi-Yu is going to live this, but if it does, I think he still wins anyway. So I think that was very well played, like end game by Aaron. Like these two are two very volatile Pokemon you could easily lose an end game to, but I don't think Aaron can lose this one. You see the Extreme Speed doesn't even need a Sucker Punch. Extreme Speed just gets for one shot, which is huge. And then the Sucker Punch is going to do like not that much damage to the Miraidon, but it doesn't matter at this point. Electric Drift I think is going to pick up a knockup, then the Rillaboom comes in, he can just fake out Icicle Crash, Grassy Glide Icicle Crash, and would have a Icicle Crash. There's not much he can do to mess this up now, apart from if he starts targeting his own Pokemon. Genuinely, how Sejun wins this is he has to hope that Aaron misclicks and Icicle Crashes his own Rillaboom.
The fourth final Pokemon for Aaron will finally be joining the Assault Vest, getting that Grassy Surge.
Yeah, Assault Vest Rillaboom is just... I think all he had to do there was get rid of the Chi-Yu, and then Rillaboom beats this Miraidon.
You've got the fake out here,
and we see the fake out.
Sejun
playing it out. And we see the Throat Chop as well. He's not even risking misses. He's going for resisted hits because he knows he just needs damage. And now it's probably in Grassy Glide range. If it's not, it's in Grassy Glide and Throat Chop range. So Grassy Glide Throat Chop should just win the game.
It hasn't got the boost from the electric terrain anymore.
Aaron checking which one does more damage there. Sucker Punch or Throat Chop.
Aaron's done throughout this match with the Rillaboom, with that Assault Vest, going to be in a really great place to do that.
The Grassy Glide's almost there, but the Throat Chop is going to be the one to seal the
And there we go. Grassy Glide Throat Chop. Aaron wins versus Sejun Park.
In a 2-0